questions as well. So here we go. First of all, the tarot is, in my opinion, one of the best sources of self-development, self-discovery. In fact, I have told many people, and there might even be a few people that are already on here that I've told this to, that if you can't afford a psychologist or psychic or a psychiatrist, then you might want to consider getting your own tarot deck, because using the tarot deck will help you reach deep inside you to find answers that are just sitting on the surface waiting for you to access them. So I find that using the tarot is it's like having your own psychic. It's like having your own psychologist, your own psychiatrist. I often say that the tarot is like a switchboard operator between you and source. So if that's the case, then you can really solve a lot of issues and save a whole lot of money. That's a myth, Jessica. It's actually a myth created by the Christians. Maybe we'll get into that a little later. You can buy your own tarot. In fact, I've been selling tarot for years in my Earth and Sky Connection metaphysical shops. And I have actually told people, when you're choosing a tarot deck, just pick the one that calls you. And I've actually seen decks jump off the shelf and slam them in the head. It's so funny to watch. It's kind of funny. Okay? So, we're going to talk about that. Lisa, hang on a second. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to get a deck that speaks to you. But if you're really wanting to learn, you want to get the traditional tarot deck, which is called the Rider-Waite. Okay, the Rider-Waite. This is the major arcana of the Rider-Waite. Minor arcana. Also the minor arcana, but the court cards. Hey, Carmen, thank you, girlfriend. Okay, so the Rider-Waite tarot deck is the one that I request that you have in my classes. The reason for that is because the Rider-Waite tarot was created by Arthur Waite, who was a Golden Dawn member, and it is one of the most prolific and long-term, well-known tarot decks in the world. Okay, so because of that, it's accessible by, you can get it anywhere, and it has a lot of genuine symbols locked inside the pictures. So they're really important, and these allegorical images are traditional for each card, and they have meaning, true meaning. A lot of people who are artists, and I'm not putting any of them down because I've seen some absolutely gorgeous decks. I have tons of them, but some of them are missing some of the traditional symbols that are necessary, and some of them actually have symbols that he didn't put in his. So, it's neither here nor there, but this deck is a really good beginner's deck. So if you're a beginner with tarot, this is what you want to... The Morgan Greer deck is beautiful. Yes, it is a very beautiful deck. That's a good deck, yes. And you have the Rider-Waite deck, Jessica? Good. Okay. So when you're using the deck, you want to remember that it is an extension of your being. Remember I said by using them, it's a self-discovery tool. And I'm talking about the Rider-Waite tarot deck. Okay? Hanson Roberts deck, not my favorite. Angel Tarot cards, also not my favorite. But that's okay. Everybody, like I said, these have their own languages, and you have to hear them. They have to speak to you, not me. But when you're in a tarot class, a traditional tarot class, you need to have a specific deck so that everybody's on the same page, especially while you're learning. Yeah, I know a lot of people love different decks. Yes, that is. Who's that? Melissa. Yes, it is one of my sisters, of course. Melissa, you're here. Okay. Welcome. Okay, so Sherry, just like to push me around, you little brat. Yep, I see how you work. Minnie Rider-Waite, yeah. I love her work too. So just so you're clear, the reason we use the Rider-Waite deck is because it is the most traditional, it has the most symbols, it is the most traditional symbols, and it is easy to access. And when you're in a first level tarot class, this is the deck to use. Once you get into your second and third levels, I teach them all, then you can bring any deck to the table, and then I show you how to use them. To be honest, one of the reasons why we use this deck as well is because it speaks a language that's clear. It speaks I'm going to stop looking at this for a few minutes, folks, so that I can focus on what I'm teaching. It speaks a language that's clear for everyone. This is a deck that was created by an English person, and some of the other decks were created by different languages, and sometimes it makes it hard to interchange so that we get the right message. However, anyway, so we'll go back to this. So the tarot is a long, it was gifted to you, right? Stephanie Austin wants me to impress her. This is an introductory class. It's going to be hard to do that, my dear. But if you want to be impressed, you might want to come in. Yes, I'm teaching tarot. In fact, my tarot classes will start in February again, and we're going to be learning them according to the dates. So traditionally, the tarot starts in March. It's a long story. I'll get into it in the classes, but it starts in March, and certain cards start in that time. So March would be the time of Aries, and we sort of started around March 22nd. But my classes are going to start in February, so we can get ready for that. So we're going to teach it according to the astrological tarot calendar, and it will become much more usable and sensible to you as you go. Also, it's a unique way of learning, and you might want to also consider getting yourself a tarot calendar, because it'll be very helpful if you're interested, of course, in taking that particular class. Okay, so make sure you're following, and thank you for those that are following. I see. Thank you for following. That's wonderful. Appreciate it. Thank you, Carmen. All right, so tarot, really, a lot of people maybe don't know this, but it's been around a really, really super long time, and it actually created itself from the energy of the chessboard. Back in the day, in about 500 or 600, I guess, what is that, before Christ? Yes, BC, I guess it would be, sorry. Back in that day, the Chinese especially they were the ones who created the chessboards. And back in that time, there were 4 sides, not 2. There was 4 playing sides. And this was because it was sort of a tool used in a strategic planning of war and strategy of war and battlement. So, and then they used to take this chessboard with them when they would go on travels to do their taking over kingdoms and such. So what happened was they would make like clay dudes, clay figures and all, and the clay dudes, all the different figures. In fact, if you think about all of the men, the pawns would represent the minor arcana, the larger, like the knight, the rook, the kings, the queens. The kings and queens would represent the court cards. The knight would represent the court cards. The rook would represent the towers. Different cards would represent different things. I mean, different chess pieces would represent different cards. And what they did was they started breaking when they were taking them. So they started making, and they were too heavy, they started making them into pictures. And then eventually, long time later, a whole deck was eventually created. And the first deck that we see probably mentioned at all that we have any proof of was in the 1300s. And it was one of the kings that had it created for him. I'm not exactly sure, except that maybe he was using it also for strategy battlement. And what he did was his accountant put it in his bookkeeping. So that's how they found out that it was indeed a tarot deck then, because the accountant had taken, I guess, the numbers of what it cost the king to have that deck made. So that was in the ledgers of the accounting. So that's how they were able to figure out the very first full deck. Yeah, I know, it's pretty cool, right? We may get into that. So the bottom line is when you're playing chess, it's actually connected to tarot, okay? And sorry, it's really hard to teach and read. It is so hard to do that and to pay attention to what's going on here. So it makes my ADHD kind of go whippy. Excuse me. So around the 11th century, we've seen certain things pop up, maybe partial decks, sort of major arcanas. It wasn't until the 13th century that we see a whole full tarot deck. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. You're so sweet for saying that. Really sweet. Okay, so the minor arcana. Let's just talk a little bit about what the minor arcana is. And that's these cards here, okay? These cards here. So there are 56 cards, including the court cards, and that's these here, okay? And the court cards there's 4 suits and 4 court cards, so there's 16 cards there. And here we have 4 suits, of course, and there's 10 in each. So there's 40 and 16 is 56 cards, okay? So also, just as another highlight, is the playing cards. The playing cards, there's a lot of people out there who can read them like tarot. And if there are, you've heard of 52 pickup. Well, there's 52 cards, and then there was 4 jokers usually put inside the deck or something like that. So that gave you 56 cards again. Okay, so I don't know exactly how that all happened, but that's basically connected to this. Only there was only a king, queen, and a jack in the playing cards, and I guess the jokers represented the additional court card. So I have tried to read them like that with a playing card, and you can do it if you're out camping or something. It's kind of fun to do that. But these cards here, I don't like to take them to parties unless it's a psychic party, a tarot card party. I don't like taking my cards where there's drinking and partying like that, because to me they're really special and they're really sacred. And I don't know if anybody read the little, I guess I didn't put it on here, it's on Earth and Sky. Tarot's my religion, bottom line. I've been without a actual direction in religion. I teach tarot, I love tarot, eat tarot, and I also see tarot as a source of information about Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. And I saw them as pagan people, and they are depicted in the major arcana, and we see that by this card, and that would be Jesus Christ. And where's my girl? Mary Magdalene, the high priestess. So these 2 cards represent Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. And if you go through the major arcana, you'll see the evolution of their lives. So I teach tarot with the inclusion of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, and definitely not as a Christian belief system, but as a pagan. Hey there. Pagan or mystic Christianity. Because back in the day, Mary Magdalene, she was from the King David Church, and they were mystics. They were called Gnostic Christianity. And back in the old ways, or the Christian ways, they believed in psychic work. They believed in mysticism. They believed in the psychology or the philosophy arts, basically. They believed in them. And it wasn't until many moons later, when Constantine got a hold of the Bible, that everything was changed. And in between that time and Mary Magdalene's time, there was devolvement of the the mystics, or the devolvement of the Gnostic traditions. So eventually they took everything out of the Bible and everything out of the religion that put people in power, so that you would eventually become more and more dependent on the pastors and the priests, the religious leaders. I'm glad to hear. That's how I see it, yes. So in my classes, of course, I'm going to get into more detail, but this is just a mini class. I give you a little bit of direction. So the minor arcana, when we look at the minor arcana, it's sort of like the minor details in your life, okay? It's like, we call the minor arcana the solar deck, okay? So it's the things that you can see, the things that are obvious, the people in your neighborhood, the people in your life, the events that take place in your life that are obvious and simple, the day-to-day type of things, okay? And the major arcana deck, this one, of course, is this part. There's two decks. There's the minor arcana, and that would be called the solar deck, and the major arcana, that's called the lunar deck. So the lunar deck is all about the things that aren't so obvious, the things that are felt, the things that are behind the scenes, the things that are secrets, the things that are occult, okay? So then we have these two aspects, the sun and the moon, okay, the solar and the lunar. And they teach us to look at both sides of ourselves, okay, the dark side and the light side. They teach us about white and black. They teach us about the positive and the negative, the male and the female, the mother and the father. And we all carry these energies. And so this is why it is very significant in us pulling it together to utilize in developing ourselves and discovering our own beings. And by using them on a daily basis, you become more and more aware of who you are. And if you write things down every day in a journal, you learn more and more and more about the tarot, and more about yourself. Thank you, Carmen. Appreciate that, dear. So, excuse me, I'm just going to take a little sip here. Don't forget to send some gifts along my way, and tap that screen so that you can get a whole bunch of hearts to pop up. See that? That's me tapping the screen. And if you want to win one of my workshops, you just need to send a few gifts along the way and make sure you're following me. And then that way you'll get an opportunity. And oh, thank you. And I'll check into that. Wizard hats are my favorite, actually. Thank you. I actually love those hats. I wouldn't mind one that looks, actually I have one, but doesn't look like that. I do private readings. In fact, if you go to my bio, you'll notice there's a TikTok special only for TikTokers. If you go to my website, tamarewhitewolf.com, there's other ones there that you can choose from. You can ask book, Fiona, I don't do you. That's not happening tonight. Tonight is about learning tarot. If you want to come back again on Friday, I might get a chance to read for you. But I will not do you. Okay. So when we look at the minor arcana, what we see in the minor arcana are 4 suits. And the 4 suits basically represent 4 kinds of people. Thank you. That's good. They represent 4 cultures, 4 kinds of people, 4 types of people, the 4 corners of the universe. And this is why, like I was saying with the chessboard, they would use it for taking over kingdoms, because then they can strategize, and they would put all the cards down, or the chessboard pieces down, and they would sort of plan their attack. And of course they would put that down according to the landscape, if there was water there, or trees and forests and stuff like that. So with the tarot cards, it was easier for them. But we got to remember the 4 suits, because it would represent people of white color, red color, black color. What did I say? White and yellow. So basically, those are the main cultures, right? Thank you, Sidewinder. So basically you would have the 4 different types of cultures, or the 4 different ways of thinking, the 4 kinds of people, the 4 types of people, and they are represented by wands, which is fire sign. They would represent cups, which is a water sign, pentacles, which is an earth sign, and swords, which is an air sign. Sam Flynn. Carmen, you're sending me gifts. It's my girl. Thank you, mini speaker. Does that mean I should speak up? So that would, those 4 signs, or those 4 symbols, would represent the elements as well. Fire, water, earth, and air, right? So then when we look at that, we see the different vibrations. So in those 10 cards, or 14 cards actually, including the court cards, in those 14 cards of each suit would have the vibration of, for instance, the wand would be a creative, an idea person, sparking ideas, a passionate individual, intuitive individual, okay? This is better than Netflix. I love you, buddy. You came to my festival. Yes, I remember you, Sam. I remember you, girl. Welcome here. Please make sure you follow. Go and follow me here so you don't lose me. I teach classes every Monday here for free. And I'm doing psychic readings on Fridays. So, I miss you too. Thank you so much for being here. So nice to see you all. I live in BC now. I sold my property. Yes, I know it's going to come with that. But I did. Anyway, so here we go. So the fire sign is what we call, okay, wait a second. I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget certain things I want to tell you. So fire sign, or wands, are considered, now I'm going to teach you a tiny bit of Kabbalah along with this. And when I do in my class, I teach quite a bit of it. So we have the 4 worlds, okay, in the Kabbalah. And the one is absolute, and that is the top one. That is the one closest to creator, closest to the universe, closest to the source, okay? So this is the world of ideas. This is the world of creating these awesome ideas, the spark of creation. And this is the energy that we find in the wands, spiritual and intuition and creative, okay? So whenever you see a wand card, that's what you're seeing. You're in London. Yes, I remember you moving there. I remember something about that. Okay, so the next one would be the cups, okay? And the cups are representing of the water signs. And so when we look at, first of all, when we look at the wands, don't forget, when we look at the wands, it's all the Leo, the Sagittarius, and the Aries, okay? Sorry, I forgot to say that. So that's the fire signs, and that is absolute, which is at the very top of the 4 worlds, closest to spirit, closest to source, and has all of the world of ideas, spark of creation, intuition, creative, and very spiritual. Okay, so that is the wands. So when we go into the cups, we see the Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer, and this is the world of Braya. The world of Braya, and the world of Braya is the mental plane, but it comes from an emotional place. Okay, it is the world it is a world of creation as opposed to the spark of creation. It is the sea of love. It is the world of emotion. Ice creams. Oh, I'm starving too. Carmen, stop sending me food. You better send me a hat. Yes, I'm a Leo. And you, my dear, you are a Taurus. I don't forget who the Tauruses are. I always have to walk carefully around you folks. Anyway, so the world of the water energy is all about emotion and compassion and kindness. It's also a very spiritual card, okay, or spiritual energy. Jessica, you're an Aries. Your damn cup is overflowing. You still love me? Well, then maybe you better call me. We can talk it out. We should talk it out. We should witch it out. Want to witch it out, girl? Actually, I think about you all the time. I think we have some stuff to talk about. Thank you, Kimmy. Aquarius, yes, yes, agreed. Okay, then let's do that. I'll get back to class. All right, so let's make this clear. This is a water sign, and it is a feminine energy, where the wand is a male energy, and we obviously know that because the wand is like a phallic symbol, and the cup is a vessel. Okay, good. All right, so that is the world of Braya, and that is right under Absolute. Okay, so the bottom line is, I'll explain that at the end, so that way I don't confuse you. All right, so then the next card is the swords, and it is the place of Yetzirah, the world of Yetzirah, okay? And it is the world of formation. It is of intellect and intelligence. It is of becoming. It is more like the becoming, or the creating of, or the becoming of, or the moving into, or the growing into. It is a mental energy that is an intellectual form, as opposed to the cup, which is emotional mental. Okay, so it's a more cooler energy, and it's a male energy. It's a phallic symbol as well, so it's more male energy. All right, so. And that is all about the astral plane. So what that means is it's all ethereal. It's all in here. A lot of stuff in here, okay? And so those people would be very intelligent. They would be cool and aloof. And they would be the Libra, the Gemini, and the Aquarius, okay? Thank you. Oh, yeah. Usually my class is about, well, I've shortened it to 3.5 years. It used to be 5 years. But I have figured out ways to teach it that might quicken the process. Also can get you to professional level at about 3.5 years. But you could read for fun in about a year. So that's the world of Yetzirah. And this is, as I said, the place of the cooler energies of intelligence, okay? Thank you, Carmen. You want to win a workshop, eh, baby? I like you, Carmen. You're such a good lady. All right, so the next one is Asaya. And Asaya is the earth energy. So we went from the air now to the earth. And the earth is at the very bottom. This is where we are created. This is the world of where we are created, the physical plane, okay? Yeah, sorry. All right, so pentacles are of the physical plane, the visual forms, the world of material. So these are, where's my world of formation? I forgot. Oh yeah, I already said world of formation, sorry. And so this is the world of material. This is the sensation. This is the place of money. This is the place of a material value. And when we look at this, we see Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And so these become the more business orientated, the business people, the business minded, the money makers, the mothers, the fathers, the people that provide for their families, the earth energy. It's not that the other ones aren't providing for them, but these ones here are typically more stable and more homebodies, okay? And more, not that they're homebodies, no, I shouldn't have said it that way, because the Cancer is quite a homebody. What I mean is they're very concerned with their home, they're concerned with their property, they're concerned with the people in the home. I'm in Nanaimo. So that's Asaya. So let's just recap, okay? So we have fire, water, air, and earth. And some of the beliefs, like I have some of my own beliefs and teachings too that I didn't necessarily pick out of a book. So here's something that I realized after many moons. And that is this. And I learned it through, or figured it out through something called the Kabbalah. And I'm going to get a picture of it for you so you see what the Kabbalah is. And the Kabbalah is a teaching that I use, a method of doing readings that I use, called the Tree of Life, okay? And the Tree of Life is, in my opinion, far more advanced than any other spread, there is. It would. Actually, it would be in a place that we call secretly right there that doesn't look like there's anything there, called Dath. That's a very advanced question there, my lady. Okay, so this is the Tree of Life spread, okay? So as you can see, there are 10 circles, and those are called sephiras, and each of them represent planets or planetary vibrations. Each of them has a planet associated to it, and each of those sephiras actually represent a specific thing related directly to the planet. Okay, so when you place your cards down on this specific spot, you're actually interpreting the card through the filter of the planetary vibration. So not only do you have to know the tarot card itself, and the tarot card then in reverse, and then the tarot card and its effect by the other cards beside it, but you then have to interpret it through the environment that it comes in. So this is why it takes so long to learn tarot, because it's not just, a lot of people tell me they intuitively use the cards. Okay, that's good, but that's very much reading them as oracle, as an oracle energy, and that is not true tarot. Sorry, it is not a traditional tool. It's not a traditional divination. It's not the ancient art of reading tarot. It is a intuitive use of pictures, basically, which isn't a problem. It isn't bad, but if you want to be a master tarot reader, you have to come to someone like me to teach you, or you have to spend a lot of time learning it. Well, then still, don't forget, it's not just about learning the tarot to read for others. Like I said, you could learn the tarot to use it for your own self within a year. Okay, or use it with you and your friends. But to read professionally, you really should know how to read the tarot fully. Otherwise, you can really mess people up with your intuitive sessions. Sorry to say, not to be rude, but you could. No, you can't watch this later. Sorry to say. Unless I post it on my Earth and Sky. Hey, that's an idea. I wonder if I can post it on my Earth and Sky connection. Well, that's an idea. I'll try that. Meadow Manson, what's your name? Wonderful to hear. So you can connect with me later. You could maybe leave a message and I'll get you connected on the learning the tarot. So anyways, the Tree of Life spread is a far more advanced spread than any other spread there is, except for maybe one that compares, in my opinion, and that is the Astrological. Heather, love you, girl. Hey, girl. It is what was I going to say? Sorry. Oh, the Astrological reading, which is done there are 12 cards that are used in a circle. It's a very nice reading, actually. I really like that reading. So it sort of compares to this one, but it doesn't fully, because there's another thing that the Tree of Life does that absolutely no other reading will do. And if you look at the lines, see the lines in between the sephiras? Those are called sephiras. So those lines in between the sephiras are also, they're paths. And those paths actually represent the major arcana. So there are 22 paths, and there are 22 major arcana cards, including the Fool, which is a 0, okay? So there is a 1 to 21, and then the Fool, which is considered 0. But there are 22 cards in that major arcana deck. So the major arcana is each of those cards are assigned one of those paths. And each of those paths have the vibration of the planetary energies that are combined around it, so that are joining it. So whatever path it's on, so for instance, if it's on this path, then this planet and this planet are going to show up in some way to influence it, okay? So then there's the aspect of understanding how that works and what that means. Now, I'm going to do in February, just before the class starts, actually, I'm going to do a Kabbalah meditation. and you might want to join in on that. It is most profoundly helpful, and the reason I'm going to do it is at Imbolc, in the time of Imbolc, which is coming up in February, beginning of February, it is considered the midway point before we come back into the light. And this is a really good time for us to do dream work or meditation work or any kind of magical meditations, which is the Kabbalah meditations. And most people have no idea what they are about because they're not occultists. And I am considered an occultist because of the work that I do. So this is something I like to teach, something I like to share, because it is, in my opinion, profound and very helpful and very supportive of your unique being. And so when you do these meditations, it brings all the magic of you up to the surface and puts it out. And there is no other meditation that I have ever done that has done anything as magical as I think the Kabbalah meditations. Okay, so they are fantastic and so intense. Indeed they are. And in fact, I did tape a bunch of the meditations back in the day when we had like cassettes. Now I can't find a cassette player so that I can transfer them. But then I did find this little unique thing. I'll work on that, but I haven't done it yet. Anyways, I'll have to start over is the point in terms of reading. So I'll be reading the meditation and you'll be meditating. And we'll talk about the magical inferences that happen as you are in the process of the meditation. And this is supposed to propel you, because we're going to start with the Fool, and it will propel you into a magical universe. It will evolve you from whatever state you're in now to the next level of your magical being. So in doing that, we will then learn how the planets influence the soul in the lunar deck. Don't forget, the major arcana is the lunar deck. Okay, and the lunar deck is what we do not see. It is the magical side of things. It is the things that are behind us, the things that are occult, the things that are not obvious. But they are the most profound and the most important, because they are the things that shape our very being. So they're sort of like, how do I put that? Sort of like in day-to-day life, you know how in your own life you've had trauma, and those traumatic moments change us. Like COVID has changed us all. I mean, incredible changes to every one of us in one way or another. It has broken relationships. It has started relationships that are unhealthy. Lots of unhealthy relationships were created during COVID, and lots of decent relationships broke up during COVID from the stress. So we have a lot of learned energy through the traumas of our lives. And what I find the major arcana does is it is like it pings us to whatever our issues are. It pings us, whatever our traumas are, and it forces us to evolve. It forces us to live in a better way, to do better, to rise up, to be more connected to Source. So very important to learn the energy of the pathways, which you wouldn't find in any other reading, in any other spread at all, okay? So that's the Kabbalah, that's the Tree of Life. And in the Tree of Life, COVID strengthen your relationship. Well, that is so good to hear. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough time. So this here is, I just want to say there is a left side and, am I on the right? Yeah, sorry, it's backwards too. So there's a left side and a right side. The pillars, there's 3 pillars. 1, 2, 3. One pillar is white, one pillar is black, the other one is gray. So this is just sort of representing the energy I spoke of already of dark and light, and male and female, and mother and father, and the middle representing like what we personally become from the influences of the mother and the father, of the black and the white, of the left and the right. Okay, so very profound teachings, in my opinion, and very useful long term. Okay. All right, so that's the spread that I use. That's the only spread I use, because I don't need to do the astrology spread. I might do the astrology spread if I wanted to do a year long, and I was looking to say, how's the year going to be? What's the theme of each month? That's when I would do an astrology spread. That's the only time I would do an astrology spread. I might also do a 3-card spread. A 3-card spread is useful when you're looking for yes/no answers. Okay, so that's basically, you know, you shuffle your deck, right? And this, by the way, someone asked about shuffling, and this is a way, I always laugh when people have the decks in their hand and they do this and they go, oh my God, the deck's too big. And I'll say, well, turn the deck. And they go like this. And they do that. And I laugh and I'm like, no, turn the deck this way, because then it fits in your hand easier, right? It's the funniest thing. When someone says to you, when you say, here, shuffle the deck, and they're doing this and they can't do it because the deck's too big, and then they turn it this way, I'm telling you, it just makes me laugh. Too funny, right? Okay, so anyways, so you have that, right, Lisa? I love you, buddy. Have I laughed at you doing that? Did you do that? I think you probably did. Okay, well then you see what I mean. So the deck's too big, you turn the deck this way, right? And then it's easy to shuffle. Super, super easy. Okay. So now when you have a whole deck, you shuffle it, and then you put it down. You put it down, and you do this. And you got, whoops, sorry, 3. Let me see if I can just move this around for a few minutes so you can watch what I'm doing. All right. Whoops. Okay, so you can see that. So then you would have it like this. Okay? And so the person asks a question. So you say, what is the question? Or I don't even ask them what the question is. I just turn the cards. Like that. Now in this case, of course, we see all of them up. I already put them upright, so there's no way they could have been anything but what they are. But so this is a definite yes, just so you know. So you read the cards, what they would mean, or what they say, the cards themselves. You would read each one, and then you would say, and if I were to answer this with a yes or a no, I would say this is a yes. Now, if it showed up like this, I would say, there is a big possibility the answer is yes, but you're going to have some trouble in the middle. Somewhere along the line, there's going to be a challenge. You need to overcome the challenge, but the possibility of a yes is very strong. You see why? Okay? Now, if it was like this, I would say you might have some really good energy at the very beginning of the project that you're up to or the situation that you're talking about, but it looks like it's going to fail because the effort is not put in, or whatever the cards say, you're going to answer it in that way. It looks like the possibility is not so positive, and so I'm going to give this a no. If it is like this, I would say this is an absolute definite no. And that's because all cards are in reverse. Some people say they shouldn't read the cards in reverse. I say no, that is ridiculous. Read the cards in reverse. If you're going to be a dad, yeah. It's nice to see a man happy that he's going to be a dad. Nice to see. Keep sending those gifts, folks. Please make sure you're following my page and send me lots of gifts. Tap, tap, tap that screen. See how you do that? Please do that. Send me a bunch of love that way. That's really helpful. It gets my algorithm going. Thank you. Megan, hi, my dear loving bestie. I miss you, you know. I didn't know you were here. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so that's, once I get out of my, I get very nervous in the beginning of doing these for some reason. I'm not sure exactly. I do get stage fright. I'm not sure where it comes from. But once I get out of the stage fright, I'm absolutely awesome about, because I know my stuff. But I do get stage fright. It just freaks me out. I don't know why, but it does. Anyway, okay. Maybe that's a humility thing. Maybe it is. You get nervous too? Yeah, right? It's so weird. I don't know. It's so stupid. I wish I didn't get nervous. I hate myself for it. But I hate myself for it. It's just stupid. Okay. So anyways, what was I going to say now? So that's how you do a 3-card. So I do the 3-card spread for very quick readings. I usually use those types of readings when I'm doing like shows or quick shows. Thank you, Lisa. when I'm doing like I used to do promenade on the promenade days in Barrie, Ontario, right on the street there, and for 20 years or more I did readings on the road during that promenade days event. And I almost always only did the 3-card spreads there because they were easy and I could get them done quickly. And that's what I do when I do my free psychic readings on Fridays. So I do that. So that's how you do that, okay? Now another thing that a lot of people don't know about, and it is a very good habit to get into, especially in the beginning days when you're learning tarot, is to modify your court cards. Your court cards are these cards here. These are the king, the queen, the king, the queen, the jack, all of these cards, okay? To modify them. What does it mean to modify? Please, if you're just joining now, you might want to make sure you're following and tapping the screen and sending some nice little gifts on the bottom right hand to help you maybe win a workshop with me down the road. And we're going to find out who the winner is on the next full moon. So when, sorry, got to get back to what I was just saying, court cards. To modify the court cards. So when a court card comes up, okay? So let's say when you're doing a spread, when you're putting your cards down on here, okay? When you put your cards down on this spread. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Even though these numbers go like this, 1, 2, 3, and so on, you're going to do it this way. So the reason why you do it that way is, it's kind of a long story, but you put them from the bottom up, okay? And you read them from the bottom up. And what you're doing when you put the card down, let's suppose a court card shows up. If a court card shows up, one of the problems a lot of people have, especially in the beginning days when they're learning, is what does a court card mean? Because it could be an event, it could be a person, and if it is an event or a person, you're not going to know which one it is unless maybe you modify the card, because it'll help you know which one it is. So then you're going to put another card down. So the court card shows up, and then you pull another card and you put that down. And there, now you have the Queen of Cups is influenced by the Six of Wands. So because that, now you have some clue as to what this is about. Okay? So what this is about is maybe an event with 6 or 7 people that you love, that you care about, people that love you, care about you, that support you, that hold you high up. And maybe this person here is a spiritual, kind, and emotional individual. Maybe it's a water sign lady. Okay? So then it gives you a little bit more information by putting that card down. That's called modifying the court cards. Okay? Very few people do that, but it's a good idea to do. And then when you look at that and wherever it landed on your spread, then you can sort of get a better idea as to what that card represents and how you're going to relay that card or portray that card to the individual, the querent. Okay? The querent is the person who you're reading for. That's what it's called, the querent. Okay? Now what else did I want to tell you? Okay, something very cool that I told you I would tell you at some point, and here it is. I said that not all the things that I have learned are what I teach. Some of the things I have realized. And here's one. So this is the tree of life, right? And what I've noticed is, because remember I said there's 4 worlds. So there is the Absolute, there's Braya, there's Yetzirah, there's Asaya. Those are the 4 worlds. And they are represented across here, like this, okay? It's hard to teach you like this on here. But there's a line, basically. So this is one world. That's the earth world, right? Asaya. And then these 3, they represent Yetzirah. Then these 3 represent Braya. Then these 3 represent Asaya. I mean Absolute, excuse me, Absolute. And Absolute is the fire. So the fire, the water, fire, water, air, and earth. So when we get this idea, remember I said the wand represents ideas, okay, the spark of life. This is where we are born. This is the moment, the absolute moment when you are conceived. And then it takes 9 months for you to be born. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bingo, 9. Bang, you're born. You're on the earth. And then when you die, you're about 90 to 100 when you die, if you're in good health. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Then you go back home. So there's a process here, right? There's a process of being born into the earth, and as you are maturing in your mother's stomach, the vibration of each of these sephiras are being condensed and programmed into your being. So when you come into this earth, then you have all of this knowing. So this person that I am today, I developed in my mother's stomach before I even came out. And then when I came out, each 10 years of my life, I learned, I gathered, I experienced different things that brought me to who I am today. And when I die and go back to Creator, to Source, when I die and go back, I have all of this knowing, all of these experiences, all of these lessons to bring back to the cosmic bank. Make sense? So that's mine, in case you want to know. I didn't read that. I figured it out. And I think, and I mean, I actually dreamt it. I told you that tarot is my religion, and I'm not joking. It speaks to me like my familiars speak to me. I have a cat, for instance. I have 3 cats. And one of my cats, she is so psychic, she knows exactly what I'm thinking. and she runs like a bugger because she doesn't want to take her medicine. And she knows I'm going to take us. All I do is think I better get her medicine. And as soon as I think it, I see her go. She starts to creep out of the room. I'm like, you little bugger. She knows what I'm thinking. And then I have another cat who's also my familiar. Not all animals are familiars. They're not. Like my dog, as much as I love him, he's not my familiar. He's in a world of his own. And that's okay. I love him like crazy. But he's in a world of his own. And my cats are very different. 2 of them are very psychically connected to me. The other one is, I don't know, he might even have a little tiny autism. Yeah, they're smart. How do I know when they are? Because they can psychically tune into you. And they also, like my cats, when I'm in here, and this is my little cottage where my sacred temples, when I'm in here and they're outside, they are running around the whole place and running on top of, jumping on the roof and meowing at the door and trying to get in. Thank you. You take care. We'll see you again soon. I know you have a beautiful cat. I know you have a beautiful Sphinx cat. They're gorgeous. Well, they're sort of gorgeous. I've seen them, but they're not my favorite kind of looking cats. But I get it. Anyway, so that's just a little tiny bit about what you're going to learn when you come to a tarot class with me. We'll learn about what the numbers represent as well. And before I go, I'm going to teach you this part. Yeah, I've had other dogs that were very much from my familiars, and I guess my dog, he's had a lot of struggles. Long story short, he's blind, and he's hyper, and he lost his brother when they were together. I had 2 dogs at the same time, brothers, and one of them died of a very terrible heart attack, actually, and at 18 months. So Venus we are in love, but he is not my familiar, and that's okay. He has other jobs to do. He has other things to do. Have I always been a pagan? Probably. That's a good question. Have I always been a pagan? Well, I must have been, because from the time I was 2 years old, I was astral projecting. When I was 9 years old, long story short, is my mother thought the devil had my ass, and I was into all of this stuff even back then. I've always been into astrology or tarot or some sort of, even, do you remember those little origami things that you would make? You put your fingers in them, you would make them, and you would put, you have to flip it open. So we go 1 to 8, I think, and then you'd have like 4 colors on the outside, and you say, okay, pick a color. Do you remember those things? Yes. And so you pick a color and they go red, R-E-D, or blue, or whatever. And then, okay, so then you open it and then they do it 3 times. You remember that? And then you'd finally pick a number, right? Back in public school. Well, believe it or not, that's a very psychic thing to do. Think about it. Think about it. We learned them in church, for God's sakes, when I was a little kid. And I remember how to make them too. But it's a very psychic tool. I used to make them all the time when I was a young girl. I made them from the time I was 5 up. And I used them all the time. So, and I believed in them. I believed in them. And I used to write stuff in there like, you will fall in love, or you're going to get fat, or your hair's going to go curly. Stuff like that. It's so silly, right? Or you're going to get some money. Your son makes them all the time, see? See, now you want to make them. Because, of course, it is a witchy tool. It is a very witchy tool. So that's one of the things that I used to do when I was a little girl. What's another thing? Oh, pendulum. That's another thing I used to do. And my son, actually, my son did something when he was a year and a half, and I swear it told me this kid was a psychic. He started showing psychic signs between year and a half and 2 in so many ways. He would get a string, and he tied it to a wooden thing that had a hole in it. Like it looked like a little donut. And he would follow it. So he would hold it in his hand and he would follow it as it swang and he would walk towards it. And I'd say, what are you doing with that? And I can't remember what he used to say, but I said to him stuff like, he'd say he couldn't find something and I'll say, use your pendulum and go and find it. And he would do it. And he would find his stuff every time. It was amazing. So that's another tool that I think the young can use, is pendulum and the little origami things. What was another one? Oh, my grandfather did this. And I just told my mother about it the other day, and she said, oh yeah, where did he get that? I'm like, I know, right? So it's been in my life for a long, long time. So when you ask me, how long have I been doing it? Who knows? Forever. My grandfather used to take a pin with a string, and he put the string through it, and he had just a regular pin, like a needle. And I'd seen him doing it. I was in the kitchen one day, right? I was in the kitchen one day, and I came into the dining room, and here he is doing this with this pen, doing a pendulum. I'm like, what are you doing, Gramps? He's going to find out whether she has a girl or a boy. I said, what do you mean, a girl or a boy? He said, what are you talking about? So he says, if it goes like this, it's a boy. And if it goes like this, it's a girl. So I guess, I can't remember who he was checking, but it does a circle. He goes, she's definitely going to have a girl. And I remember whoever it was, she had a girl. Who was that? I forget who that was. God, my memory isn't as good as it used to be. Do our pets understand? I think so. Are you from the West or East Coast? I'm from Ontario. I live in BC now. Yes, pets understand what we say. Of course they do. I believe they do, yes. Your sister does that? Hey, Diane. Nice to see you, my friend. I miss you. Love you. Thank you, Carmen. So just as a reminder, tap, tap, tap that screen. A whole bunch of times, folks. Send me some love. Send me lots and lots of love, because it keeps me in the algorithm and it makes TikTok like me and show me to everybody. And then please make sure you're following me. Please make sure you're following me. And at the end also, see how Carmen is sending me a tennis ball. That's it. Right? That's it. That's the craft, buddy. That's the craft. All right. Sending love always reminds you. Oh, Kirsten, hi, sweetheart. Nice to see you, my girl. Well, kind of see you. Kind of see you. It's nice to have people here that I haven't seen in a long time. Really appreciate the follows, and I really appreciate you coming on. So on the bottom right, there's a little spot where you can send gifts. It's really important that you try to send me a little bit of gifts, even if they're only cheap ones. I really don't give a care. But the good thing is, at the end of the day, those diamonds that I collect, thank you, Diane, thank you. Those are called diamonds or credits. And when you collect them, it helps you you end up with this little, it doesn't, you don't make, I think it's, what did I figure it out? 0.5 cents per credit. So when you send me one rose, I get 0.5 cents, a half a penny. I figured it out. So you get half a penny, which is fine. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. So then at the end, when you have all of these little, see, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. That's because I rock. Thank you, Heather. You're a sweetie. So then I can use them to promote some of the things that I'm going to do with the little advertisement things that TikTok allows. So that's part of the reason why I need it. It also keeps me in the algorithm, and once you get to a certain point, they push you up far higher, and then I can start doing other things that will actually not just benefit you, but benefit me too. So it'd be really helpful if you did that. So thank you so much. So we've got 6,000, almost 7,000 likes. Tap, tap, tap that screen. See all those hearts? That's me sending them to you. See? Sending you the love. Lots of love. Okay. So that, let's see. I'll take a few questions now that I'm not actually teaching the intro. Any questions? Well, it's always good when there's no questions, because that tells me I taught you what you needed to know. Thank you so much for all the likes and all the love. So sweet of you all. Thank you very much for helping me out. Yes, you just tap the screen. But you can keep tapping like this. See? Look at that. You're excited to learn more? What's your name, Chansey? Sorry, I don't know what else to say. Chansey. The Kabbalah meditation will happen in February, likely just after Imbolc. The Kabbalah is very interesting and very advancing. And just because it's important to note, the Celtic tarot spread is the least. Yes, it is Chance. Hey, Chance. Nice to have you here. I would say that is the least. I'm going to say it differently. The Celtic spread is like riding a bike with training wheels. Okay? Do I have books to recommend? Oh my God, do I ever? There are so many. I'll tell you what. I will do a little video with a number of really good books. If you look on my videos that are, actually that's a good idea for now. If you look on my videos, on my profile there, you'll notice one of my classes, which one was it? Ask any question, ask a which question, something like that. That video has a video, that video, or whatever you call them, the clip, has a video in it with me going by one of my shelves of books. Thank you, Carmen. You're going to end up with a free class. I will be on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I have a Tamare White Wolf YouTube channel, an Earth and Sky Connection, and a Shaman Witch TV. I will likely be doing a lot of astrology things on Shaman Witch TV, and inviting other guests that are familiar with esoteric and occult subjects, and having discussions on that one. And on the Tamare White Wolf, I'll likely be doing psychic sessions and stuff like that here, like this. I've been really just practicing with TikTok and Facebook, which is annoying as all hell, I'll tell you. And Facebook, which is annoying as all hell, I'll tell you. And Facebook. So anyways, yes, I'll be doing that, and I'll be teaching classes on YouTube. But those will be paid. Those will be paid. You'll have to pay for them. But I am going to be offering you classes at the most reduced rate that I've ever offered. And the reason for that is because teaching it on YouTube, I can invite more and more people to the class, which means instead of paying a normal $30 a class, I think I had it set up for $8 and $10 a class. So you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. With the classes. I think some are $8 and some are $10. It depends on which ones you're taking and when. Go to my website, tamarewhitewolf.com, and look under the tarot classes there. I think it's, I put it on tamarewhitewolf.com. Yes. And you'll see all the, oh, it's actually on both websites, earthandskyconnection.com and tamarewhitewolf.com. And there's a schedule of all the classes that start. They start in February, late February. There's an intro, there's an advanced, there's a mastering the classes, there's different ones. And you can take whichever ones you feel you want to. But if you're going to take one of the latter classes and you want to be certified by me, you have to prove that you have your intro and intermediate level by doing, by basically jumping a few hoops and dancing 2 steps around me, so that I know that you're actually able to, so that I know that you're actually worthy of a certification from me. Do I do mediumship? Yes, I do. Is it my favorite thing to do? Not exactly. Why is that? Because a lot of people want to talk about people that have died in less than a year. The reason I have a trouble with that is because in my native traditions, we do not bother those that have died for 1 full year, so that they have an opportunity to process their life and connect with spirit without being redirected and distracted by humans, people that they love. So we are told not to say, those that die, we're not to say their name in the first year. So I have trouble with doing mediumship for anyone that has had a recent death, because there's just too much. There's too many reasons. Not only is the person who died supposed to be going through their own dimensional shifts, but the person who has lost the one that they love is going through emotional shifts. And it is very stressful to work with a person who is in grief. Yes. I'm so sorry, Sharon. That's so sad. Yes, lots of times. I do. In fact, I do, one of the things that I do on a regular basis, and then you can ask a question about those that pass, and I can get the information in a tarot reading without a problem. I think that, like I said, it's out of respect for both the person who has passed and the person who is grieving, for us to discuss the person who has passed in a session for grief counseling is a different story. I'm okay with that. I am a death doula, so I do work with those folks that are dying, and I work with those folks that are loving those that die. Yes, I can reach pets as well. But the real thing is, you know, so can you. So can you. I think a lot of people have psychic skills that they don't realize they have. And it may be, you know, the old cliche that we can't do such a thing, but it's not true. We can. In fact, I have a psychic development class also coming up in the coming months for folks like that who just want to learn how to connect with, let's say, those that have died, pets as well, how to improve their own psychic skills, because I think every single one of us have a psychic ability. I think all of us do. And I don't think I'm, the only thing special about me is I get out of my own way and I let it happen. A lot of other people have the preconceived notions of what everybody else has said and what the universe or society has imposed upon them, which isn't a true fact anyway. So, you know, I think that we all are psychic, and I just get out of my own way and do it. I'm too much in my own way and been trying to listen. It's a lot of it is conditioning from society. To be honest with you, I've always been a bit of a rebel, and I do not. I don't follow the norm. I don't do what everybody else tells me to do. I do what I feel, but I do take on teachings that feel correct and feel right for me. I take them, a lot of them on. Like I have a lot of native teachings. I haven't written any books yet, Carmen, but I do have some that I have to write. One of them will basically be, I have a very colored lifestyle, a past life, very colored. And I think one of the books that I will write will be called Out of the Ashes. Yes, it does, which is why I don't carry religion. Yeah, you should see me doing that. Yeah, it'll be Out of the Ashes because I have come from impoverished conditions. I watched my father kill my baby sister at a very young age. And then I ended up being flung into a lifestyle of bikers and drugs and guns, and then I became sexually abused, and then I became a drug addict myself, and then. Yes, right? So I have overcome so much in my life. And, I think that warrants writing a book, and not so much because I'm so special, but because we all have our stories. And if I tell my story and then show you that I dragged my sorry ass out of that dark place, right, Carmen? And if I did that, then my story might inspire others to believe in themselves, that they can get themselves out of poverty, and they come out of sexual abuse, and they can come out of living that dark, scary life of a biker. Wounded healers, indeed, Diane, indeed. Some of you here know some of my stories. Well, Diane knows a little bit, for sure. Melissa does too. You still here, Melissa? Lisa might know a little bit too. I don't share my stories with everyone unless, of course, there is, yes, becoming a phoenix, exactly. In fact, can you see this? I'll show you something. Oops, let's see. Oh, a little bit disorientated. See, there's a phoenix right there. My sister painted that for me. You're welcome, Carmen. My sister painted that picture for me because I have endured as well 11 fires. I've lost 2 houses, 2 businesses. It's a long story. I don't want to get into it now, but you'll have to read the book, right? And then the one underneath is the Tower. And that is my rendition of the Tower card. And I did that. I painted that picture myself, that one on the bottom. And the reason I painted that, yes, I'm in Canada, I'm in British Columbia. I painted that one to remind me and to honor the hell that I've been through, and to honor the Tower card, because it is a card of enlightenment. It is a card of spiritual awakening. And all of the difficult things that I have lived has done that for me. It has helped me overcome. I think when you can take trauma and move it into a place of learning and doing better and becoming better, then you overcome it. The most interesting thing to me that I have found out about myself in the last, let's say, 6 years is that I have PTSD. I never even thought about it. What reminds you of Alice in Wonderland? The painting that I did? Yeah, it kind of does because of the floor, right? So when you can take trauma and you can move it into a good place, then you are working it and helping to clear it. So that painting, doing that painting, was my way of sort of putting it into perspective. All the fires that I've had, all the hell that I've lived, all the hard times that I've experienced, and the fact that I overcame them and I became spiritually enlightened because of it. So I think that's the way to heal it, is to pull it out of you and to put it into one of your muses, whether it's writing a book, writing a poem, creating some beautiful pottery, sculpting, painting, what else? Dancing. All of these things are part of the muses, right? And music, creating music, acting, all of those things are opportunities for us to process our pain. What has the pandemic helped me do? Move to BC, plain and simple. I wanted to move here since I was 18, and then again when I was 45, and I finally decided it was time to do it. And part of the reason for moving here was because it's safer in Vancouver Island than anywhere else, and I was about to caregive my mother, who is starting dementia. Thank you. Thank you. What stone am I wearing? Isn't that a beautiful stone, hon? Look at it. Can you see the flashing of blue? I wonder. Let's see. It doesn't do justice, does it? I don't think so. I don't think you can see it. It is a rainbow moonstone, my friend. And I live in British Columbia, Vancouver Island, Nanaimo area. I do have a labradorite on, yes, and I have a rainbow moonstone here too. It's my favorite stone, I think. These two are my favorite stones, which is why I wear them a lot. And actually, they also carry my medicines. I'm wearing my eagle because I am Megazekwe. It is who I speak to when I speak to Creator. I say, Ani Anishna Tamare Nadishnaka Megazekwe is here to speak with you today. And then there is the wolf. Tamara White Wolf is the name that all of you know me by. And that is the teacher, the healer, the pathfinder. And this one is the one that works closest to Creator. Sees all and sees all. The seer. And this is the snake. And that is a reminder to me to always shed the old and grow into the new. So I'm also a shaman spiritualist, and in being a shaman spiritualist, I know an awful lot about animals and the medicine of animals. I do totem animal readings. I find them to be the most helpful when you're making big changes. So when you ask me about what other, what are the most profound things the pandemic has done for me, it's helped me move here, but it's also helped me focus on myself and focus on my health and focus on my family. Because when I was in Ontario, I ran Earth and Sky Connection, one of my metaphysical stores, and I was absorbed in it for many years. And I'm going to say, strangely, as I opened that store, because I found myself and I was helping other people find themselves in the job of doing that, I kind of lost myself. So it's kind of weird. So I am rewinding, regathering, rerouting, reestablishing, and reaffirming who Tamara White Wolf really is. So I'm doing a double check on me so I can do better, be better. Where was I before BC? I was in Ontario, Barrie, Ontario. Hi from Medicine Hat. I got a dear friend who's there. I got a couple of friends in that area. Yeah, I'll be teaching the animal stuff in my shamanic classes in the summer if you want to learn that. Aw, thanks, Di. Bye, love you too, baby. See you soon. So that's my class, my friends, at 7:30, and that's all I'm going to give you today. Yes, it's a long way from Ontario to BC, and I drove here with my whole family and 5 dogs. By the way, those cats I got when I got here. I had them in my mind, and when I got here, I found out there were rats here, so I got cats. You're welcome, everyone. Nice to have you here. Remember to follow so you can find me next time. You take good care, everyone. No rats in Alberta? Oh, God, but you guys got more snow than anywhere in Canada. But you also have the absolute best sage. Lise, how you doing, girl? Nice to see you here. Hey, Carmen. Love you too, girl. Take care, everyone. The class is over. And I'm just going to have a little drink and let you guys shed yourselves until there's no one in the class. Right? Ontario beat you this year? I don't think so. My girlfriend was in Alberta seeing her son just had a baby. And she said she froze her ass off. It was negative 37 one day, negative 42 the next day. Not for this girl. I am a sun-born Leo lady who loves the sun and loves the beach, and that's all there is to it. So I moved here for that. Nova Scotia, hey, that's a nice spot out there, isn't it beautiful? Beautiful. Good friend of mine was out there. Unfortunately, she died just recently. Actually, 2 friends of mine died in Nova Scotia this year. Where's Prince George? Is that in Alberta too? That sounds familiar, Prince George. No, that's in BC, isn't it? Where is that? Yeah, Northern BC. That's right. I haven't been up there, but I hear it's pretty cool. I think I'll just stick it out down here. I'm about an hour from the tip of Vancouver Island, which is one of the warmest areas in British Columbia. Osoyoos is another area. Yeah, North 50. Oh, God, I couldn't do it. Osoyoos area is also one of the very beautiful warm areas, Okanagan Valley, Fraser Canyon, all of that area. But this year it was the most fiery. There was so many fires in that area. I'm so glad I didn't decide to move there, because I've had enough fire in my life for a lifetime. Do you miss Victoria? It's beautiful there, isn't it? I love it there. Yeah. You guys have been really wonderful to have in my class. Thank you so much for coming, eh? I hope to see you next Monday in one of my other classes. And don't forget, Friday is when I do my psychic classes, if you want to get a free session. Yeah, there was a lot of wildlife and then trees, so much devastation through those fires this year. It was unreal. And the heat factor was unbelievable. There was a negative, what was it, positive 40, what did I hear? 47 Celsius in Osoyoos and Okanagan area this year. 47 Celsius. That is unbelievably hot. And the fires just raged everywhere. And then in November, they had so much rain, it caused so many mudslides. People died, animals died. The floods were enormous, terrible floods everywhere. And the roads were all out and still are out. They say it's going to cost $500 million to fix the roads. Yeah. I'm learning doing these TikTok things, which is not always easy. Anyways, I'm actually hungry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to say goodnight and talk to you all soon. Blessed be. Take good care, everyone. I hope to see you soon.